Julia Stephen. Julia Prinsep Stephen, born on the 7th of February 1846 and died on the 5th of May 1895, was a celebrated Englishwoman, noted for her beauty as a Pre-Raphaelite model and her philanthropy. She was the wife of the biographer Leslie Stephen and mother of Virginia Woolf and Vanessa Bell, members of the Bloomsbury Group. Julia Jackson was born in Calcutta to an Anglo-Indian family, and when she was 2 her mother and her 2 sisters moved back to England. She became the favorite model of her aunt, the celebrated photographer Julia Margaret Cameron, who made more than 50 portraits of her. Through another maternal aunt, she became a frequent visitor at Little Holland House, then home to an important literary and artistic circle, and came to the attention of a number of Pre-Raphaelite painters who portrayed her in their work. Married to Herbert Duckworth, a barrister, in 1867 she was soon widowed with 3 infant children. Devastated, she turned to nursing, philanthropy and agnosticism, and found herself attracted to the writing and life of Leslie Stephen, with whom she shared a friend in Annie Thackeray, his sister-in-law. After Leslie Stephen's wife died in 1875, he became close friends with Julia and they married in 1878. Julia and Leslie Stephen had 4 further children, living at 22 Hyde Park Gate, South Kensington, together with his 7-year-old mentally disabled daughter, Laura Makepeace Stephen. Many of her 7 children and their descendants became notable. In addition to her family duties and modeling, she wrote a book based on her nursing experiences, Notes from Sick Rooms, in 1883. She also wrote children's stories for her family, eventually published posthumously as stories for children, and became involved in social justice advocacy. Julia Stephen had firm views on the role of women, namely that their work was of equal value to that of men, but in different spheres, and she opposed the suffrage movement for votes for women. The Stephens entertained many visitors at their London home and their summer residence at St. Ives, Cornwall. Eventually the demands on her both at home and outside the home started to take their toll. Julia Stephen died at her home following an episode of rheumatic fever in 1895, at the age of 49, when her youngest child was only 11. The writer Virginia Woolf provides a number of insights into the domestic life of the Stephens in both her autobiographical and fictional work. Legacy. Julia Stephen was the mother of Bloomsbury. She has been described as an austerely beautiful muse of the Pre-Raphaelites, and her physical image comes down to us through countless paintings and photographs. George Watts' portrait of Julia, 1875, originally hung in Leslie Stephen's study at Hyde Park Gate. Later it was in Duncan Grant's studio at 22 Fitzroy Square for some time, and then at Vanessa Bell's Charleston farmhouse in Sussex, where it still hangs. The family owned a number of the Julia Margaret Cameron portraits of Julia Stephen. After Leslie Stephen's death in 1904, 22 Hyde Park Gate was sold and the children moved to 46 Gordon Square, Bloomsbury, where they hung 5 of these on the right-hand side of the entrance hall. Later, when her granddaughter Angelica Garnett moved into the Charleston farmhouse in 1987, she hung them in the passageway. Other images come from the photographs of family and friends. These images formed an important link with their prematurely dead mother, for her children. Writing to her sister in 1908, Vanessa Bell refers to her wish to gaze at the most beautiful of Aunt Julia's photographs incessantly. Otherwise, her image has been described as elusive. For we know her largely through the construction of others, principally Leslie Stephen and Virginia Woolf, each with their own filters. As Lowe observes, Julia Stephen has been variously constructed as Madonna, nurse, wife, mother and phantom. Quentin Bell considers her importance measured not so much in herself as in her influence on others. This was also the position taken by Leslie Stephen at the time of her death. Many of her children, and their descendants in turn, became notable. She played a part in the development of English thought and letters at the close of the 19th century. Julia Stephen conformed to the Victorian male image of the ideal woman. Virtuous, beautiful, capable and accommodating, symbolized in Burne-Jones's Annunciation. Her conception of life was something she conveyed to her children with great effect. Baron Annan goes so far as to point out resemblances in literary style between her writing and notes for sick rooms, and that of Virginia Woolf. Although Julia's daughters rejected their Victorian heritage, their mother's influence appears in Woolf's low chignon hairstyle and wearing her mother's dress in Vogue in May 1926, see image 215. Vanessa Bell too would appear in one of her mother's dresses, such as the portrait of her by Duncan Grant. Woolf also wrote with her mother's pen. Throughout her life, Julia Stephen was a prodigious letter writer, and according to Leslie Stephen, during her mother's lifetime, they never passed a day apart without exchanging letters, often several. After her death, the Julia Prinsep Stephen Nursing Association Fund was established to commemorate the life of a woman, Leslie Stephen described as one whose frank kindly ways made her many friends among the poor. Thanks for watching HerStory channel. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe our channel.